have made it incredibly simple to get measured at home. Your natural body measurements will allow us to create the best fit, so resist the urge to flex any muscles, adjust your posture, or suck in your stomach. Here are the following things that you will need: a tape measure, a mirror, and someone to measure you. Before we begin, tie your hair up and remove anything in your pockets, your scarves, and your shoes. Stand naturally with your legs together and relax your arms at the side. Record each measurement from the very end of the metal tip. When you measure around an area of your body, make sure that the tape measure is level and that there are no finger spaces between you and the metal tip. Let's get started. Upper chest. The first measurement as per our online order form is the upper chest. This is the part where the swell of your chest is starting from. Raise your arms up and wrap the tape measure around, making sure that it's level with your body from the back and is in a straight line. Chest. Lower your tape measure to your chest, which is the largest part of your upper body in circumference. Under bust. Measure the circumference of the area that is falling right under your chest. Please mention this measurement in the additional notes section. Waist. Identify the curve of your waist, which is also the thinnest point of your upper body. Wrap the tape measure around the curve and measure. Please note that this measurement might not match the waist of your trousers that you usually wear. Upper hip. Make sure that your legs are together. Identify your hip bone. This is also the point where the swell of your hips is starting from. Making sure that the tape is in a straight line all around, measure the circumference. Hip. Keeping your legs together, wrap the tape measure around the curve of your hip, which is also the biggest point of your lower body. Shoulder to shoulder. Adjust your posture so that you are not slouching. Identify the bones on the top edge of each shoulder and measure from bone to bone over the natural curve of your back. Neck front. Your neck depth will allow us to know how deep you're wanting the neckline to be. In order to do that, we first need to measure the neck broad. A neck broad tells us how much fabric you're wanting over your shoulders. Put the metal tip of the tape measure on the bone of the top edge of each shoulder and move towards your neck. Depending on how much fabric you're wanting on your shoulder, you will identify the broad. It can be 1 inch, 1.5 or 2 inches as per your preference. Mention this part in the notes section. Once the broad has been identified, you will measure the depth. From the point where the broad is ending, you will take the tape measure diagonally towards how deep you're wanting the neckline to be. Please make sure that the diagonal end point is in line with the center of your throat. So depending on your preference, it can be adjusted. No matter what, please make sure that each point is falling in the center. Neck back. Follow the same steps to measure the back depth, ensuring that the end point is in line with the center. Armhole. Raise your arms up and identify the joining point of the underarm. Put your arm down and from there, wrap the tape measure around to measure. Desired sleeve length. Keeping your arms down and straight, from the bone of the top edge of the shoulder, measure your desired sleeve length. Bicep. Making sure that your arm is straight, measure the circumference of the area that is aligning with your chest. Elbow. Moving down to your elbow, measure the circumference of your elbow bone. Wrist. Identify your wrist bone and measure its circumference. Shoulder to waist. Hold the tape measure from the curve of your neck and bring it down to your underbust. And hold it. From there, bring it down to your waist, the thinnest point that we identified earlier. Off-shoulder circumference. Keeping both arms down, measure the area around your shoulders to measure your off-shoulder circumference. Shoulder to desired length. Depending on the style you're going for, this will vary. If you're going for a lehenga choli, you can enter your shoulder to waist, or you can go slightly higher or lower depending on your preference. If it's a different cut, measure how long you're wanting your shirt to be. Shoulder to floor. From the same neck point, bring the tape measure down, hold it at the waist, and continue to bring it down to the floor. Thigh point circumference. If you're wearing a lehenga, then this will be the same as your waist that we have measured earlier, as our lehengas are high-waisted. If you're measuring for a trouser, then measure the circumference from where you usually tie your trousers from. Desired length with heels. If it's a lehenga, measure from your waist, which is the thinnest point, to the floor. If you're opting for a trouser, measure from your thigh point to the desired length. Enter this number in the order form and then, with a plus sign, add your desired heel length as well. Thigh. Wrap the tape measure around your thigh, keeping it level, and measure the circumference. Make sure that you're standing straight with your legs together. Knee. Identify your knee bend and measure around the knee. Mid-calf. Measure the circumference of the midpoint that is falling between your ankle and your knee. Ankle. Measure above your ankle bone. In the additional notes section, mention your neck broad and your under bust along with any information that you would like us to know, such as if you think that there might be some size fluctuation closer towards the event date. If that is the case, do send us your updated measurements 3 weeks prior to the dispatch date.